This past Friday afternoon, Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal was killed without a chance to fight for his life, leaving behind his wife and 3 young children. They say it was a routine traffic stop. However, there is no such thing as a routine traffic stop. Officers conduct traffic stops in order to keep the streets safe. While traffic stops take DUIs, drugs, and guns off the street, traffic stops are some of the most dangerous things we do as police officers, as it is hard to predict which scenarios may occur. At around 1 p.m. on Friday, Deputy Dhaliwal was conducting a traffic stop, and after what appeared to be a normal contact with the driver, Deputy Dhaliwal turned to go back to his squad car. While he was walking back, the offender swung open his car door, and the man began to shoot at Deputy Dhaliwal in the back, without any motive other than being a wanted fugitive and not wanting to go back to jail. What this shows is that evil exists in the world. You could talk about taking guns off the street or having tougher gun laws. However, we as police officers face this reality every day. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sandeep Dhaliwal, and I'm an officer here in the city of Prospect Heights, northwest suburbs of Illinois. Like Deputy Dhaliwal, I am also of the Sikh faith. I also have other Sikh officers in the area with me today. To my left is Deputy Dharmadeep Singh Bungu with the McHenry County Sheriff's Office. To my right is Jaskaran Singh Gill, officer with the Round Lake Beach Police Department. And next to him in uniform is Amardeep Singh Karod, Michigan City Police Department in the state of Indiana. I'd like to thank everyone who has come out to show their support for all the fallen officers in the United States this year. In a few minutes, I will read the names of the fallen officers, or we will read the names of the fallen officers for this year. Unfortunately, the list is far larger than you may realize. I will ask that everyone remain silent as I read the names, and we'll have some young Sevadars who will light a candle for each of the fallen officers. But before we begin, I'd like to say a few words. I know we've had a lot of speeches, but I promise you that I'll try to be quick. I want to start by expressing my condolences to the Harris County Sheriff's Office and to Deputy Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal's family. As you heard earlier, he was a man who was looked up to, a man that gave back to the community, and a man who stood for justice and protected those that needed protecting. These are all traits that we are taught through our Sikh faith and are done without fear and without hate. They are traits Deputy Dhaliwal embodied, and those same traits are in all police officers. When police officers leave their homes to head in for our shift, we leave knowing very well that we may not be returning home. We may not talk about it, but it's something we all know. Every year, over 100 police officers are killed in the line of duty. These are 100 plus officers that have families, they have hobbies, they have communities to which they belong. But they put all of that on the line so they can go out there to protect and serve. This hits home for the Sikh community because Deputy Dhaliwal was so connected to his faith. However, just a couple days ago, another officer in New York City was killed. Officers are often told, well, you signed up for it. You knew what you're getting into and that you could die doing your job. My answer is no, I did not. I did not sign up to put my life on the line or to have a target on my back. What I did sign up for was to protect you, to protect my community, and that while I protect other families, I know mine are being protected by my fellow officers, all the while knowing I may be risking my life. I did it because I asked myself, if I don't stand up to the fears of the people, then who will? While it takes a special type of person to do this job, we too are human. And we ask that you keep that in mind when interacting with a police officer. I'm going to leave you with this. If you see an officer, feel free to go up to them and thank them for what they do. It goes a long way. Through Sikhi, we are taught to accept what is written for us. These peace officers were called home to the hands of Wahegu, the Almighty God. These officers stayed true to their oaths and served their communities as Deputy Dhaliwal did, the Sikh way, with equality and serving others. Please keep Deputy Dhaliwal and all of these peace officers in your thoughts and prayers. So I ask you to please remain silent as we say their names.
As we've heard numerous times, there were 94 line of duty deaths this year to this date of October 2nd of 2019. I will be reading the names of all 94 officers, and as I do that, we will be lighting each candle up here, which will be representing the life of each officer that was killed in the line of duty this year. Master Police Officer Joseph William Shinners. Police Officer Dale James Woods. Police Officer Clayton Joel Townsend. Police Officer Natalie Becky Corona. Trooper Christopher Lambert. Sergeant Watasha Lamar Carter. Supervisory Deputy U.S. Marshal Norman D. Merkel. Deputy Sheriff Ray Elwin Horn III. Police Officer Sean Paul Tutter. Lieutenant Robert Bo McAllister. Deputy Sheriff Joshua Bryan Ryer Jr. Corporal Shane Michael Toddy. Detective William Lee Brewer. Border Patrol Agent Donna Doss. Trooper Lucas Bartley Dowell. Police Officer Matthew J. Rittner. Detective Brian P. Simonson. Chief of Police David P. Hewitt. Agent Alfred Zanyet Perez. Lieutenant Daniel Dwayne Hinton. Under Sheriff Monty Thomas Johnson. Police Officer Nicholas Scott Gallinger. Sergeant Steve Hinkle. Police Officer Nathan Hayden Hindelberg. Deputy Sheriff Jacob Howard Keltner. Corporal Daniel H. Groves. Deputy Sheriff Ryan Shane Thomas. Police Officer Paul Thomas Rutherford. Deputy Sheriff Peter Herrera. Trooper Brooke Jones Story. Trooper Gerald Wayne Ellis.
Police Officer Kyle David Olinger. Conservation Officer Eugene Wynn Jr. Special Agent in Charge Laquate Khan. Canine Officer Jordan Harris Sheldon. Police Officer Robert McKeithen. Police Officer Anthony Neary. Trooper Matthew Elias Gatti. Constable Willie Houston West. Sergeant Calvin Ansari. Police Officer William Ray Buchner, Jr. Police Officer Jesus Marrero Martinez. Lieutenant Joseph Johnson. Lieutenant Steve Dwayne Whitstein. Police Officer William James Leahy. Police Officer Albert Ramirez Castaneda, Jr. Police Officer Esmeralda Ponce Ramirez. Sergeant David Jones Fitzpatrick. Deputy Sheriff Julius Jamal Daly. Police Officer Stephen James Brown. Trooper William Moden. Lieutenant Robert Jones. Police Officer John David Hetland. Police Officer Tara Christina O'Sullivan. Trooper Jerry Lewis Smith, Jr. Corporal Jose Luis Esperqueta, Jr. Police Officer Michael Vincent Langsdorff. Deputy Sheriff Troy Chisholm. Detective Andrea Renee Jacqueline Rayner. Detective Luis Alvarez. Deputy Sheriff Carlos Ramirez. Police Officer John Anderson. Deputy Sheriff Omar Diaz. Deputy Sheriff Nicholas Dixon. Conservation Officer Shannon Barron. Sergeant Michael Steffen. Detective Christopher Cranston. Deputy Sheriff Benjamin Nims. Police Officer Juan Jose Diaz. Detective James Biello. Correctional Officer Pedro Rodriguez Mateo. Police Officer Raymond Harris. Correctional Administrator Deborah Johnson. Sergeant Jeffrey Kikora. Officer Andre Moy. Deputy Sheriff Stephanie Schruers. Deputy Sheriff Carlos Kamen. Trooper Nicholas Hopkins. Deputy Sheriff Jose Blancarte. Trooper Moises Sanchez. Deputy Sheriff Jeremy Boyles. Under Sheriff Stephen McLeod. Detective Jose Paulillo. Investigator Dornell Cosette. Police Officer Derek Bishop. Captain Vincent Liberto Jr. Deputy Sheriff Chris Halsey. Trooper Tracy Vickers. Deputy Sheriff Sandeep Dhaliwal. And Police Officer Brian Mulkeen. These are 94 police officers that were all killed in the line of duty. Now I ask that you please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।